Reflecting, I'm deflecting, burning tires to move on. Too many noises, clash the choices, future.
Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. You're an all-star. I'm not going to sing, don't worry. Deli's like, thank Lord Jesus. All right. So we're a little bit delayed today. Here's what's going on. You're going to hear a slight hum in the background. And what happened was I came in and there's some construction going on for some cool stuff they're doing here, but they're laying tar and Mama couldn't breathe. So Mama's air went out and we got an air purifier running in here just because I'm sensitive to stuff like that, any kind of stuff like that. So wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it, but I'm fighting through. If for any reason the show goes shorter than an hour, it's because Mama needs some air. So you're going to have to roll with me on that one. I'm trying to be a trooper here for all of you because let's face it, if the modern women aren't taken on by me, who's going to do it, right? So some things just require a little extra. Today's a little extra. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to run through what we're going to do today. I got some crazy content for you today. I'm telling you, I don't disappoint. And this stuff, just wait. If you're obese, you might have a problem with it. Just saying. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to begin with, there are 2 plus-size models, and they're talking about how they deserve a 6-figure man. So I'm going to break down what they're saying. We're going to talk about, do they deserve it, do they not deserve it? It's interesting. It's a clip you're not going to want to miss. Let's just say that. Then we're going to dig into a woman's self-assessment of being above average. Is she above average? What are the standards by which she's identifying herself as above average? Does that make sense? We'll see. We got a delusional woman who gets everything wrong on feminism. And she's one of those that's just like screaming, high emotion. Let's just say that, high emotion. I've got some studies here. We're going to see what we do and don't get to today based on, my air supply, given the tar. And we're going to dig into some videos where you have some delusion going on. You got a woman 36 years old trying to convince us all she's really, really happy. She's unmarried. She has no children. So she's doing a fake dance. All fake. All nonsense. And of course, I'm going to close with some Matrix. It's a packed show. We're going to try to get to it all. I'm going to see what I can do based on the air. I apologize in advance for that hum. If you're asking in the chat what the hum is, it's an air purifier so that Mama doesn't lose her air. Okay. Today's show is brought to you by one of my favorite companies. Truly one of my favorite companies. The company is called Row Casa Organics. And it's a hub of products, all sorts of stuff. It's where I get stuff for my baby, for my home, for myself, for my husband, for my dog, everything. So one of the leading causes, interesting that we started this show talking about tar, one of the leading causes of chronic illness among people is exposure to chemical compounds, environmental toxins, chemical toxins. That's a reality. So what I'm trying to do is keep you healthy, and you are exposed to an enormous amount of chemical toxins per day, not just from, think of the air you breathe and all that stuff, pollution. Sure, everybody thinks about that, but you don't think about the products you use, the self-care, lotions, shampoos, deodorants, powders, cleaning products around your house. All of this stuff is typically made up of a bunch of toxic garbage, truly, that you shouldn't be breathing in, that you shouldn't be putting on your body, and it's making people sick. So enter Row Casa. It's a company I absolutely love. They provide high-quality, non-toxic, clean products, no nasty chemicals, all kinds of stuff, man, woman, and child, and pet. The company is family-owned. It's Texas-based, so all of the stuff is made in the USA, which is wonderful, beautiful. They extensively research and source the purest ingredients. I, by the way, they don't even know this. I went and had their products third-party tested by a doctor who does fantastic testing. Just separate, actually, sponsor we're going to bring in here. But I had them tested, and these products from Row Casa tested out fantastic, which I was very happy to see. So I bought a bunch of them, of course. They have a fantastic customer service team on Facebook, on Instagram, on social media. You can chat with them 7 days a week, ask any questions that you want. They have 200 handmade products for your home, personal care, wellness, babies, pets, you name it. You need better sleep? They have products for that. If they have actually a really cool best-selling hair spritz that helps to restore hair loss that I've been hearing amazing things about. Non-toxic skincare routine, there, okay, for men and for women as well. They have all-natural, non-toxic hormonal support for men and women, stuff that can help with if you got some trouble with your testosterone, whatever's going on in your body that's out of balance, they've got stuff for that. Over 600 babies 600 babies have been conceived with the help of their hormone support blends. I did not know this. That's pretty incredible. And they also sell bundle packages that make amazing gifts. I just bought one for my mom. They're fantastic. You can buy like a little bundle and they make a great gift. Let me tell you something, guys, if you're listening, your girlfriends will love, trust me, I'm the product queen. Your girlfriends will love this stuff. Ladies, if you're listening and you want to, swap out some of your husband's nasty, toxic products, this is the place to go do it. Baby shower coming up. There's stuff there. It's really a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful site with beautiful products. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. My personal favorites right now are the Deep Sleep Salve. I love it. It's like a little lotion you put on. I feel like it calms me before bed. It's amazing. They have a body scrub that is glorious, and they have an elderberry immune support that I love. I take it if I'm going to hop on a plane or something. It stresses you out to travel. I stick some of that in, and it helps me to not, you don't want to catch anything. You don't want to have your immune system be beat up. I have a special offer for you today, and it's going to be in the description. 20% off of all of your orders with code Jedediah. The first thing that I always tell people who want to get healthy, I say, what do you use in your home? What are you using for your cleaning products? What are you putting on your skin every day? Your skin is the largest organ of your body. Start there. So take advantage, seize the opportunity. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. I told you that I was going to make you healthy on this show, or I was at least going to help you get there on your own, and that is my promise to you. Rocasa is a great place to start. I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't use it. I love them. So check it out. All right, now we're going to dig into the content. So plus size models. Oh, man. Here we go. Okay. I guess I'll ruffle some feathers. Why not on a Friday? Let's go to 512.
Liked a man who makes six figures, who has enough to provide for his family. If I were to marry him, we were to have kids, I wouldn't have to work. I can be a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, because that's like what I desire. I already vetted him for the other stuff. Like, I vetted if he was kind, if he was honest, if he was a good person, if he had similar values to me, because those things make a relationship too. That's important as well. Hello, that's like part of it. I guess people just thought, oh, money hungry fat women, like who would, like, not at all. Like, literally you have to have similar values. You have to have something in common, because looks fade, things fade. But
so let's stop here. All right, wait, and you're going to see there's two of them there. So she wants a man who makes six figures, she said. Now, look at the list a mile long. She's not just saying it's just about money, right? Oh, I already vetted all the other stuff, she says, the values, this, that, and the other thing. Then you got the six figures on top of that. That's like the top 20% of men. If not, it may even be the top 10%. I'd have to look at the stats right now to get that 100% accurate. But is she, like, would you consider her like an 8? I'm just asking. Let's just objectively evaluate that, audience. And I'm not trying to be, listen, again, this is not a show about, oh, Jen's being mean, Jen's being... No, I want women and men to have a realistic assessment of where they are, what their expectations should be, because you want them to wind up with a partner. You want them to be happy at the end of the day. This seems a bit diluted to me. She is overweight significantly. And I would just ask somebody like that. It's always curious to me, like, what do you bring to the table in terms of what are the things that a guy can be looking for when he looks at you? Do you think, if you're saying you want a six-figure guy, is it realistic to say that the top, 10 to 20% of men overall would have you on the list of, oh yeah, she would be? Is that a fair assessment? Is it? I ask. I would probably be inclined to say no. Okay. Now, I think it's really interesting, though, because there's a lack of self-awareness that comes along with this game, right? She should, in my view, like, this is a pretty girl, right? No question, in my view. She could say to herself, I want this type of guy, right, with all these things, so I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But instead, what you see throughout these clips is, I'm going to stay just as I am, and I'm going to get that guy. Is that realistic? No, it's not. It's not. This is delusion. Let's go to 1339.
For my life partner, I'm looking for a husband, I'm looking for marriage, going towards that goal. So I personally will not waste time on a guy that I am not seeing long term, because I can pay for my food. Like, I can take myself out to eat. Like, I don't need a man to do that for me. but like I want him to do that for me if I'm interested in him, so that he can show that he's able to provide for me and wants to like, take care of me, because that's what I'm looking for. So it's just really just what I'm wanting to see from a man that I can see myself together with.
Okay, so the question is, like, let's pause it there for a second. Like, how's she doing though with this philosophy? Because like, you hear from a lot of women that say, oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm here and I bring this to the table. And you heard a little bit of that, like, I don't need a man. Well, I can pay for my own, blah, blah. Okay. So let me ask you, honey, if you can pay for your own stuff, right? Why do you need a 6-figure man? Why? Why is that important to you? If money's not an issue for you, why do you need the 6-figure man? Delineate. I'll sit and wait. You'll be waiting a long time to hear that answer, let me tell you. So she has a certain set of rules. What if guys came out and did a podcast and said, listen, I have a certain set of things that I want from women. One of them is that you can't be obese. No, just think about it. If they said that, can you imagine the hatred, the loathing that would go their way? So I find it interesting that you have somebody here who has kind of a deluded sense of self, from what I can see. There just is a delusion. You're looking for the top 10% of guys, and you're thinking that you're gonna garnish that. Okay, I don't know. And at the same time, you're saying you have the audacity to have a little bit of that edge of, I don't really need a man, like to boot, to make you less desirable to that male population. It's just fascinating to me. And again, listen, because I know I'll get the emails. Oh, Jed's fat shaming. I'm not fat shaming anyone, right? But these are obese women. By the way, they call themselves fat. If you listen to the start, they both say we're fat and we're perfectly fine with that terminology. They say it. So I'm going to, if you're fine with it, if fat is just a thing, skinny is a thing, right? It's just a reality. These are fat women, okay? So you hear these fat women talking like they're not fat, right? So you can acknowledge that you're fat, but then you have to understand that being fat is not going to be an alluring quality to the top 10 to 20% of men. Like, it's just not. Unless maybe, and we talk about this too in a little bit, they go on to say that some of the guys that like them are fat too. Okay, well then I would tell you those aren't in the top 10 to 20% of men. So the whole thing is distorted. All right, let's keep playing that one. Jelly's having a field day over here.
Standards aren't too high. I think that people assume because of either the way that we look that we shouldn't expect these things. And that's kind of how I was living until I was maybe like 24. I'm 26 now.
Hey.
And I agreed with the societal idea that plus size women should be settling and we should just kind of take whoever wants us.
No, honey, listen. No. You should not be settling. You should get your shit together. Like, get it together. Get it together. Why don't you just go lose some weight? You shouldn't be settling. You should be the best version of yourself. You should be the best version. I'm not saying you got to be, a supermodel. Not everybody's going to be able to reach that standard, right? That's all the way up here. But you can't sit and say, oh, well, I'm morbidly obese and people are telling me I should settle. No. Smart people who care about you are not telling you should settle. They are telling you that you should lose weight. You should get in better shape. You should be the best version of yourself that you can be, that you are currently in a position where you are noticeably unhealthy, and that is going to be unappealing to the top echelon of men that you're saying you want to attract. If nothing else, forget about what's appealing to somebody visually. Everybody's got different types. Some guys like the boobs, some guys like the booty. You know how it is. It's like guys, they're all different. But you cannot tell me that the majority of men in that top bracket that they want to target, those 6-figure guys, are going to find obesity, someone who's morbidly obese, to be attractive, because it's not healthy. So you're looking at that person saying that's going to be the mother of my child. I'm going to be blunt here, but she can't afford to add more weight through a pregnancy. She can't. Deli's listening, but she can't. She can't, because you realize how unhealthy that pregnancy would be for her and for the baby? That's unhealthy. So, I'm tired of this whole like, oh, let's cater to obesity. No, every single one of these people needs a reality check. You are putting yourself in danger. A partner is not going to want to be with you if they are the top of their game, because they're not going to want to get into something where that person clearly doesn't care about their health and well-being. And that person clearly doesn't care about their own longevity in life, right? You're at risk for a whole bunch of stuff if you're obese. Why is somebody going to want to get involved with you if they will? Well, she doesn't care about being here for the long haul. You can't tell me you care about having children and health and all this stuff. You can't. I don't know how you're not going to even be in the same category of somebody who like, if somebody was fit, in shape, I'm not saying, again, a supermodel, I'm just saying regular fit person who cares about exercise, this, that, and you put them next to you, one person is going to be more likely to have a healthy pregnancy. Can we just have a real conversation about this? I'm so tired of people walking on eggshell, oh, afraid to hurt everybody's feelings, oh, this, oh, that. You have to, listen, if you want to attract the top 10 to 20% of men, you need to lose weight. End of story. And you should want to lose that weight for yourself, because you're very attractive women, both of you. And you could be much better than you are right now. So you can either, be grateful to me who's telling you the truth, or you can be grateful to somebody who's going to lie to your face and enable you to continue to be unhealthy and have you think that you're going to get that top 10 to 20% of men, because that's delusional. So my vote would be to listen to me. All right, let's go to 1547.
Dad, as old school as he is, like, I have a lot of my standards and my my thoughts on dating because of my dad, and he would always tell me, he's like, yes, definitely get a provider type, get a guy who's going to take care of you, take care of his family, that, because like my dad was definitely much so a provider type, but he also said, always have your own money, always have something going for you, always have something you can fall back on, because that's like a lot of times, like my dad grew up in Brooklyn in the 70s and 80s, and he's seen so many women who were so dependent on a man. They were stuck in really bad situations like domestic violence, things like that, because they had no choices. Like there wasn't a lot of choices back then. Thank God there's more resources now for women like that, but like, there wasn't a lot of choices back then.
So her dad's giving her a bunch of bad advice. Number one, her dad should tell her that if she wants to attract that high level of guy, which, by the way, she should want that, right? I think women should say, I want a provider guy. Perfectly reasonable. Her dad should sit her down and say, honey, if you want a provider guy and you want a guy that makes 6 figures, you have to lose some weight, because you are making it, unfortunately, very unlikely that that's going to happen. You lose some weight, you're going to be able to attract more of those guys, because they're going to look at you and say, this is somebody who cares more about their personal health, who cares about their longevity, who cares about things. I want a partner for life, and I want somebody who's going to be on, for the full road with me. That's what her dad should say. Also, this whole idea of like, oh, women need to have their own money to, because if they lean on a man, that man's going to go out and be, there's going to be domestic violence, and that man's going to abuse her. Where's the personal responsibility on women? No, you're picking bad guys. You're picking bad guys to lean on. So, of course, you don't go out and pick some guy to lean on that you're worried about, and, oh, my God, this guy's kind of into the dark side of things, and, he's verbally abusive, so he may push the envelope one day and become this, that, or he's into drugs, or that's on you, women. That is on you. It's not about, oh, you have to be afraid to lean on a man. It's that you have to be afraid to lean on that man. But if you change the way that you take responsibility of your own life, and you start saying, okay, I'm going to be looking for a good guy, you're not going to wind up with a guy that you're afraid to lean on financially. I'm not telling you not to have your own money. That's up to you. Do whatever you want in terms of the dynamic of, have a little bit of money on the side for yourself, have a part-time job, whatever. That's fine. I don't care. I'm just saying, don't have this ingrained in you that you can't lean on a man because, some people in the neighborhood back when you grow up made bad personal decisions to lean on bad men who weren't responsible, who weren't taking care of their health and well-being, who weren't taking care of their families, who were into the drugs, the alcohol, whatever it may be. And they got the short end of the stick, those women. Well, they made bad decisions. They're grown adult women. And again, stop infantilizing women. Stop infantilizing women. We are either capable of making quality decisions or we're not, in which case I guess we need a parent till we're, maybe then we need a husband that acts like a parent if we can't make any decisions. We don't. So then we're perfectly capable of decisions. So then put the ownership on women. Choose men wisely. By the way, if you want to have more options, you got to lose some weight. It all circles back. This is not I'm here, hurting people's feelings. No, this isn't about feelings. This is just reality. This is their dose of reality for the day. Okay, let's go to 1807.
A lot of people were saying in the comments like, oh, well, you just want someone to take care of you. You just want to like put all of your burden on a man. You just want to be a child to that man. But like, if you really looking at my situation, I have my own career. I've been a full-time model for 7 years. I've been able to pay for my own place, pay my bills, go on vacations, live a full life as a model without a man. So I don't need a man. If I'm going to add a man to my life, he's going to have to take care of me and provide for me because I want to get married. I want to have children, all of these things. And
okay,
that's
hold on, please. Before I lose my cool, does this make any sense? Does this make any sense to you? Girlfriend's saying, oh, I have this, and I'm a model, and I take vacations, and I do this, and I do that, and I pay for it all myself, and I have all my own money. But if I'm going to invite a man into my life, he has to pay. He has to do all these things, or why would I invite him? What are you talking about? You just told everybody you were content to do it all yourself. Make up your mind. If your mantra is going to be what makes me appealing to men is that I'm able to take care of myself 100% completely, first of all, men are going to be like, okay, you don't need me, bye. But secondly, if that's your mantra, that's how you're supposed to be attracting men, then how can you in the same breath say, but I want a guy who's going to do all these things I'm already doing for myself and I've already proven I don't need a man, blah, blah, blah. Do you understand? You don't make any sense? Guys are sitting there like this, scratching their heads like, this girl's nuts. They will just look at you and be like, this girl, she's off my list just because she's got the cray-cray. She's crazy. She doesn't have the crazy eyes, and we're going to show you a woman, by the way, who does have the crazy eyes later. Beware of the crazy eyes. But it just doesn't make any sense. And again, I would ask you, you're saying, my guess is she's saying that she's entitled to that six-figure top 10 to 20% of men because she does all these things. I can pay my own bills, and I'm a plus-size model, and this, that. Guys don't care about any of that. They don't care. So are you nurturing? Are you feminine? Part of being feminine is going to be that situation with the weight. I'm telling you, it's going to be a turnoff to a lot of guys. I just don't understand how somebody who's obese could come out and say, I'm entitled to the top 10 to 20% of men. I don't understand why that delusion is allowed to exist. Well, I'll tell you why, because in society now, fat is healthy and it's all over the magazine covers. I did a parallel the other day. Of a magazine cover. It was like a random 1985 magazine cover about health. You see like a beautiful girl fit on there. I did that parallel with the Cosmo magazine with the big fat woman who's like, this is healthy, trying to do some yoga. That I was like, girlfriend's gonna have problems in yoga because she's obese. Like, I'm tired of tiptoeing around the fat talk. And I remember being on The View, no joke, and this topic came up related to something that was in the news. And they were like, you can't say that in the back room. One of the producers at the time was like, you can't say that. I said, why not? Obesity's not healthy. And you know what they said to me? This woman no longer works there. She was a horrible person. She says, the audience is fat. You're going to offend them. I said, you're telling me I can't call out a reality that obesity is unhealthy because the audience, in your view, is fat? Well, you know what? If your view is correct and the audience is fat, then I need to say this more than ever to say this isn't healthy and open some eyes and ears to that reality. No, we have to coddle it. I mean, what type of... And then she also said to me, and you're skinny, so you can't say that. I was like, what? What? This is the world we live in. Tiptoe, walk on eggshells, blah, blah, blah. Can't offend somebody because they're fat. No, I'm going to tell you that if you're fat, you are lessening your chances to get that top 10 to 20% of men. End of story. Okay. Let's go to 2754 before I lose my mind. By the way, oh, wait, hold on, Deli. The chat is open. I'm going to do $20 and up today for the chat just because, the voice is what it is, thanks to the tar. And we will read them. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's get moving. You notice if I'm a little more feisty than usual today, it's because the tar made me angry. So this is kind of what you see if I'm hangry or if I've been exposed to a chemical toxin. There you go. All right, let's go. 2754.
So like he is a senior software engineer, and the software engineers I know make like 100 to 200,000. So he's making money. He's living in LA. How did he like treat you? Did you guys go on any fancy dates or any trips? Like, what was it like being with him?
So when we first met, he basically wanted me to move in right away. And I said no, because I had just found my own place, and moving in with someone, after not knowing them for that long is very scary. But he offered to pay my rent so that I could like spend time with him.
Pause. He offered to do what?
Okay, hold up for 1 second. Let me just give you the backstory. First of all, can we just leave this up on the screen? Can we just look at the screen for a second? And this is not cruel, but they are saying that they deserve the top 10 to 20% of men. They deserve a six-figure man. And I just want you to absorb the visual, because this is a reality. I want you to absorb, number one, what they look like, and number two, how little they care about their health. Okay, and I don't want to hear, I'll get some message. One of these women will write me and be like, I embrace diet and exercise. No, you don't. Whoever told you how to diet and exercise lied, and they're a malicious person, and they don't like you. Okay, let's continue.
Well, he not only offered, he did pay my rent.
Okay, so this is like one of the main points to my viral videos that people were,
I know,
like outraged about. Like
you shouldn't be outraged
if a man pay a fat woman's rent.
Also he was fat too, and that's that's something that I think a lot of podcasts we've seen recently.
Yeah.
Want to say that plus size women don't deserve a man who makes six figures, which I've dated men who make six figures, and I know you have as well.
For sure.
And the thing is that there is no sort of like requirement for a man to make six figures and then have certain like looks or traits. Like any man, if he can figure it out, he can make six figures.
All right. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? First of all, she tells us that the guy who she deems high value, who makes the six figures, is also fat. Yeah, you didn't need to tell me that, actually, babe. You didn't need to tell me that, because only a guy, first of all, if he's fat, he's not a high value man. Okay? He is not high value if he is morbidly obese. He may make six figures, but being a high value man, we all know, is not just about how much money you make. That's a component of it, for sure. It's not just about how much money you make. Right? So if you're morbidly obese, you're not a high value man. End of story. End of story. So she says, he was paying my rent. Yes. Do you know why he was paying you a rent? Because he had no other options. Because you just told us that he was fat, and he sized the situation up, and he was obviously having a very hard time getting somebody, and he wound up with you. That's a reality. Listen, you could be the nicest woman in the world. I don't care about that. We are talking about the reality of physicality, okay? You're telling me this guy was also fat. Now, what are the odds? Let's say that guy wasn't fat. Let's say this guy who makes six figures and he's athletic. What are the odds? Just be honest now, audience. What are the odds that that guy would go for one of these two women? Can we just be honest? And the reason I'm saying this is because I want these two women to wake up and to say, I'm capable, I'm attractive, I can get my you-know-what together, I can get in the gym, and I can get myself to a point where, you know what? I'm in a much better position to get that top 10 to 20% of men. They are perfectly capable of doing that. What I'm not going to do is coddle their egos, put them into a safe space, and tell them that being fat is healthy or that being fat is desirable to the majority of men, let alone the top 10 to 20% of men. That would do a grave injustice to those two women. So I'm not going to play. So we just have to be honest about this, and it drives me nuts. And by the way, I did look into the comments on that video, which, by the way, go and look at. The comments on that video, I can't remember the name of the podcast. Maybe Deli can tell us. But the comments on that video, you have people saying, listen, you're obese. You have to, you should get into the gym. If you want these things, you should get. She's like, well, I had a meal plan or something. And she's talking about a meal plan where she went and bought pre-prepared food from like a Trader Joe's. That is not healthy. I love people. They're like, I'm going to go to the Whole Foods salad bar. The Whole Foods salad bar is filled up with, oftentimes you got a bunch of garbage seed oils in there. You could go to the Whole Foods salad bar and eat mounds of like just potato salad. You can't tell me. Is she keto? I feel safe saying no. I feel safe saying no. Okay, and I'm so tired. I think that the exhaustion of having to tiptoe around this like obesity thing has nauseated me to such a point that now I just have to say what is. Okay, so bottom line is these two women look ridiculous saying what they're saying. And they're in full capacity to make a change, a positive change for themselves and their bodies, and to actually be worthy of that top 10 to 20% and actually be likely to get it if they got their lives together. But there seems to be no interest in that. So it bugs me. It really, really bugs me because you walk around on a beach today and you see a bunch of fat people and you see a bunch of fat kids and you're like, why? Why? It's nauseating. It's lazy, it's nauseating, it's oh, let me feel good with food all the time. I just can't do it. I can't do it. All right, let's go to number 2. I'm going to get to the chat in, actually we have a chat. Let me just read this one. I know I set the bar high at $20. I know. But listen, the exposure to the tar has gotten to my brain a bit. Let's just blame that. All right. It's Dunamis 333. My wife is very slim. One of the main reasons I chose her to be my wife. We have 4 children. We've been married for 28 years. Yes. Because you know what? Slim is a sign of it. And by the way, I'm not saying every skinny person is healthy. You did not hear that come out of my mouth. There are people you could be anorexic or bulimic and be unhealthy. I'm talking about women who care about their own health are very, very coveted by men. Because then you're going to care about your health when you get pregnant, and then you're going to care about your health after pregnancy. And people always say to me, I'm 44 now, had a birthday just a short time ago. Happy birthday to me. And people say, oh, Jed, I had a baby. I kept it tight because I cared about my health and because I look at that child and I say, I want to be here for him as long as possible. So you see somebody then that's personally responsible in a way that's attractive, right? So it's not just visual, it's also a concern about health and well-being. Okay. And also most people who are overweight are not happy. You're just not. Come on. There was a guy on Twitter recently, by the way, fat guy. And he was in the gym and he said, I'm obese, but I'm done. It was like some type of tweet. He said like, I'm obese, I'm done with this. I'm not going to let this own me. I'm taking it out. And I applauded him. I was like, yes, you go. And he's in the gym now and he is actively losing that weight and he's going to chronicle it. More power to that guy. Good for him. I'm not here to make fun. I'm here to say, yes, he's fat. He knows it. But this guy's doing big things now. Amen. Amen. Okay, let's go to number 2.
You know what's funny about the Gabby girl that we were just talking about? Remember how she said she doesn't need nobody to provide for her? Yeah. So I go on her Instagram, right? Then you go to her bio, and the first links are her Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon to buy her gifts.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
You would think it would be equipment, too. They're just earmuffs and snow boots.
Earmuffs! Must be cold wherever she is. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. They lie. And people say, oh, why do you say women lie? Because women lie. Do men lie? Yes, men lie sometimes, too. But I'm a female, right? I can call out those female lies and spot them a mile away. So I'm going to. Come on. If she was fine by herself, she wouldn't be talking about how she wants a high-value man and to provide and all this stuff. Come on. All right, let's go to number 2. She says she's not average. This is a woman who says she's not average. Okay? Listen to her reasoning for why she's not average. Has she made her case to you? Let's play it.
Perfect. It's like,
I didn't say perfect, but it's like everybody's saying, I need to have it as average, Why? I ain't average. I am not average. I'm going to let you know right now.
What makes you not average?
Because if I look at my age mates, my successes, my achievements, my personality, my drive, my motivation is unmatched.
Can I just say something? Okay, just say something for once. Are you a single parent?
I am a single
You're
parent.
average. I'm average. I'm average.
Okay, so can we just talk about, first of all, we have the question of average. Again, overweight, objectively overweight, significantly so. Okay. She's talking about the reason she's not average. My success, my achievements, my drive, my motivation. She does say her personality. I don't know her well, so I can't attest to that one. All of those things make her not average. She's talking about being average in the eyes of a man. And she has a child from another man. She's divorced. Honey, you're average to guys, right? Guys are looking at you and saying, okay, she's overweight. Okay, that's minus. Let's be realistic. I'm not, again, people will write me and say, well, there are guys out there that like bigger. Yes, we're talking about majority here, okay? She's overweight significantly. She talks about the success, achievement, all this stuff related to career. Guys, by and large, don't care about any of that stuff. They just don't care. Great, you have it. Okay, awesome, yay. But it's not going to make or break the situation. In fact, it may break the situation if you've managed to lose all of your femininity in the process of chasing that career. That's number 2. And you've already had a guy and have a child. So I don't know if you'd say a single mom. I don't know what the status of, what's going on there. That's not going to be viewed as a positive. So again, a woman like that should sit back and say, okay, how do I compensate for these things? You can't just be deluded. You can't just be deluded and be like, that would be like me sitting here and I'm talking to you and I'm like, I look 20. I just had my 44th birthday and you guys write to me and say, you look great for 44, because I get those messages. Thank you, by the way. You look great for 44. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh no, I do, but I look 21. Put me in a room full of 21-year-olds and you won't be able to tell the difference. Would you not lose some respect for me in that moment? Because let's be honest, I don't look 21. I don't. In fact, I got an invitation to the Whatever podcast, and I said to my husband, I said, oh man, I'm gonna look like their mom sitting there. I don't mind, because mom came to tell you all what you're doing wrong, right? But I'm like, some of these girls are 19 years old. I'm gonna look like mama just walked in. Maybe I should get some type of shirt. Maybe I'll get a MILF shirt for that day. Who knows? But, but I'm just saying, like, can we just be honest? I don't understand. I'm not average. Honey, you're obese. You have a kid by another man. You're talking about a whole bunch of career achievements that guys don't care about. Reassess. Gosh. I choose these clips and then later I'm like, what did I do to myself? I got my blood pressure up this hour. At what cost? I'm going to have to go to the beach later and calm myself down. All right, let's go to number 3. Okay, so now we have a woman. By the way, Just Pearly Things is rolling back again. It's fantastic, that show. I'm not going to lie. I really, really enjoy it. We had Pearl here a few weeks ago. I said to her, girlfriend, I really like your show, and I'm picky. She said, really, you do? I said, yes, I do. I really do enjoy it. It's like watching new age Jerry Springer. You all know, if you're in the chat and you're old, you know what I'm talking about. So go to number 3. Deluded. She's crazy. She's starting to lose. The emotions are flaring. Let's play it.
I feel like you should go out there as a woman. We are so blessed with feminism. Mm-hmm. This is why, honestly, I don't know why people speak down on feminism. We can make our own money. Bro, in Africa, in certain countries, women can't do that. So to me, it's just such a blessing that women can do that. And in Western countries, I don't know why women don't want to. Mm-hmm. Why are you still looking for a man to take care of you? Mm-hmm. But if that's what you like...
Because they want the soft life.
Yeah, but you can give yourself the soft life.
Don't tell me.
Women can go into managerial roles. You can work hard,
stop
get
it.
Your money up.
Stop it. Stop running the mouths like this all the time. What is going on? Okay, so she's like, women should be so grateful to feminism. Why are they all miserable then? What? I never saw so many unhappy women. All the time complaining, mad, coming home from a day's work. Oh, I hate my job. I only got this amount of days off. I can't wait for my next vacation. Oh, man. Hardened on the inside, cranky, coming home to their husband. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. You see this attitude, this face going on all the time. No patience, stressed out. Oh, thank you, feminism. They're miserable. Women are miserable more and more. Can we just talk about that? Can we not address that big elephant in the room? Then she's talking about how he says, that's King Rich's. He says, you can have a soft life. You can have a soft life, he says. You can give it. Oh, no. He actually says to her, women want guys to pay. She says, you can have a soft life. You can give yourself a soft life. How are you going to do that if you're working 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours a day? Oh, women can get managerial positions, she says. What does that look like? I mean, this reminds me of that conversation with Megyn Kelly and Matt Walsh the other day. Megyn Kelly's like, women who come home and they feel the vibrancy of their career. Oh, who is that? Maybe I do, right? I come here, I sit, I have a cushy job. Megyn Kelly has a cushy job. You think the average woman's sitting there 12 hours in a cubicle, the fluorescent lights above her all day, with a boss that's annoying. She's like counting down the days to her next vacation. She's ready to lose her mind. Is it lunch break yet? Run outside, grab that little bit of fresh air and sunshine in the hour that she gets. Oh, yeah, she's vibrant. Come on. Come on. And they say, oh, that stay-at-home mom sitting at home all day. Meantime, woman's outside playing with her kids, beautiful sunshine, had a nice homemade lunch. Give me a break. I'm not saying it's easy to be a stay-at-home mom. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, you cannot compare the two things. I've had both worlds. I have had both worlds side by side. When I left Fox, when I exited Fox, I should say, I had a long period of time. I had almost a full year where I wrote a book, fine, but I was home with my kid. Didn't have to be anywhere doing anything. I was blissful. I would wake up, toss my hair in the sun. I didn't have childcare. I was the childcare, play with my baby. I was blissful. And now I adjusted a schedule so that I can still be blissful. I'd get to do something I love, but I don't work for an overlord. They're lying. Women are lying. They're lying. Okay. Let's get to 156.
The reason that they reported initiating the divorce is because they don't have to tolerate bad behavior. Back in the days...
Bad behavior.
Back in the days, women went through a lot of abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, because of the fact that they didn't have financial security. They married just to get that financial security. And now their college... Bro, they going to earn a lot of money when they graduate. So now it's like, I don't need you to really rely on... I don't need to rely on you for financial support. I can actually make decisions because of the way I feel now. Now you're not making me happy. You're not trying to make me happy. So I'm just going to leave. I've tried to communicate with you, and we're not getting anywhere.
Okay,
so now it's really because women
can. But women they're unhappy. They're not happy, right? So I don't know. Listen, I know she's talking about bad behavior. My guess is she's talking about cheating. She's got that stereotype in her head of like the 1950s housewife whose husband cheated. She stayed home and she was like a slave, cooking and cleaning all day. The husband was out sleeping with the secretary. I mean, you watch television and you kind of pick up this stuff and you think that's what life looks like for the vast majority of people. And it just wasn't. Did that happen? Yes. Did it happen in the vast majority of cases? Come on. Don't you have families? You got grandparents? Come on. Okay. The dynamics, the power structure was just different. The gender dynamics were different. It was just a different world. It was different. But I would like to know if you're so confident that feminism brought in all of this positive change for women. Okay. Some of it, I would agree with you, has been positive, but all of it is positive. Okay, it's all positive, and now women this and women that. Why are they unhappy? Just answer me. Because now they're out what? They're looking for guys. They're on the hunt now, only they have standards up here. They're refusing to give guys what they want. So if guys say, oh, I want you to be feminine, this is important to me, and I want you to be, pleasant, and oh, how dare you ask me to be pleasant? How dare you ask me to be feminine, you misogynist? But I need you to make 6 figures a year. You down? Talking like a man like that too. No, he's not down. So you're alone, you're miserable, and you're like, thank you, feminism, as you cry yourself to sleep at night with a big old pot of Ben & Jerry's. Stop. All right, let's go to 2 minutes, that last one from that. This is too much. This one's funny.
Society, why do you think society is not listening to men? The richest, most successful in the world are men. The people that make decisions, the leaders are men.
She's going to extremes.
Stop. Esther.
All we do is listen to men.
Esther, listen to me.
By the way, this is what they're talking about. Pearl's like, come on, man, just tone it down. When they say emotional women, that's what they're talking about, right? You sit down to have a debate. The guy's just like, you ever see these couples? Oh man, it's the best. I love when I go into a restaurant and I see a fight. Don't you? It's like live TV. I just sit, I just get my food, a little snack, I'm just like, woohoo! What +1 over here? Oh, -1 over here. I love it. Watch a little entertainment. Anyway, what you usually see Usually, not all. I know someone will be like, no, I knew a guy that used to yell. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I get it. But like what you usually see is from the guy, you see a lot of this. Hear the conversation, he's just talking, and then you see this. Right? If it was on mute, I mean, it's just like crazy. So this is your emotional woman. All of us. I have it too. When I talk to my husband, we disagree about something, there's a lot of hands going on. There's a lot of going on from me, and he's just like very chill. Drives me nuts sometimes too, you know? Guys, you want to drive women crazy? Keep that chill tone. Because we can't sometimes. The estrogen gets in the way. What can we say? Anyway, she's talking about how could it possibly, it's not equal society, she's saying. And she's saying, how could you think that men don't have a voice when the most powerful people in society are men? She's talking about politicians. She's like, oh, they're running everything. Meantime, this is not a conversation about the top men up here. Yeah, sure, there's a lot of men CEOs and all that. Okay. This is a conversation about men in general. Most men are not in positions of power. They're regular guys walking around, and you know what they are? They're figuratively castrated by society and by modern media. They're walking around being told they're toxic all the time. They can't say anything to women without having their head bit off. Oh, you're a misogynist for every little thing. They're like, forget it. God forbid they want a feminine woman. It's like a crime. That's what's going on for the average guy. There's expectations of them. They're going to make six figures. They're going to do all this. In the meantime, the woman gets to just do whatever she wants and claim feminism as an excuse for why she gets to live the exact way she wants and make the demand she wants, but he can't do anything and say anything without getting his head bit off. That's the reality of most men. That's why men, and the conversation was about why men look to Andrew Tate. There's another woman on the panel that says, well, because they're looking for somebody to speak up for them. Yeah, they're looking for that. Yes, they're looking for that. They're looking for some guidance in this whole rabbit hole they're in. They're like, how did I land here and how do I get out? Enter the Tates. That's how you get out. Money, financial independence, get in the gym, stop catering to every woman. Have the ability to have standards by virtue of creating a life that's attractive to other women. All this stuff we know. I just can't, man, with this whole men have everything. Men aren't having sex. It's like the Sex and the City generation, I swear. Nauseating. Okay, this is a study here. God, I wrote on all the backs of the pages, so who knows if I can find it. Anyway, there's a study. Did you all see when I had MLD on the other day? He's hilarious, by the way. He's so funny, that dude. I got to have him back. I didn't really maximize that show now that I knew enough about him to want to interview him one-on-one, but I didn't know enough about how funny he was. I should have just had him here live react to a bunch of stuff. I'm going to have him come back and do that, and he's going to come. We get along, so. All right. He was talking about dating apps, and he was saying high-value men and high-value women are not on dating apps. I want to read you this. I saw this in the New York Post. Not that I love the Post, but this is important. It says dating apps are detrimental, make it harder to find love. There was a study. I'm going to read some. Findings from the University of Vienna showed that more usage of dating apps and exposure to a superfluous amount of profiles can lead to feelings of self-doubt, that excessive swiping is compulsive behavior. Excessive swipers reported to be more overwhelmed by the abundant number of seemingly available partners on dating apps than moderate swipers. That is, excessive swiping seems by and large detrimental no matter how youth swipe. Okay, as long as if you're a swiper, and we all know how these apps are designed, right? They're designed, you can keep it on here even though I'm talking. These apps are designed so that you're addicted, right? So they're not looking for somebody who's going to swipe moderately. They want you to bury it in that phone, swipe it away. Our findings suggest that dating app users who are seriously interested in meeting someone face-to-face should try to restrict their swiping and not get distracted by in-app instant gratification such as like and match notifications. People do not stop searching as soon as they have found a sufficing option. They try to maximize their gains, which requires extensive searching. So what happens here? Okay, we're good. What happens here, I wrote a book about this. You should go look it up. People look up hashtag do not disturb. It's cool. The cover is I don't know. They wanted the illusion of me dropping my phone. I still think it looks weird. You tell me. But anyway, it was a book about technology and how it's kind of wrecking us. And it was a throwback and looking at like older generations and what they got right that the current generation is getting wrong by virtue of being, a bunch of robots. And the reality is you can sit and say, oh, you can get on a dating app and you can still have an okay experience as long as you don't get addicted. But the apps aren't designed like that. They're actually hire people. I don't know if you know this, but social media companies, and app companies, they hire people in-house that are behavioral psychologists who understand what would you have to do to get somebody addicted, and they have those people consult on designing those apps so that you go in there and you are quite literally a puppet, because the stuff's been designed to trigger your brain chemicals in a way that you can't help but be like this. That happens on dating apps. And we talk about this, and the reason that MLD is saying get off the dating apps is because you get this sense of like endless options, and it's not realistic. So it's like faces and faces and faces. Oh, first of all, you feel like, oh, I should keep swiping, right? There's more. This guy seems cool, but there might be somebody else cooler. Let me keep going. And then you're in this maze of just using the app, but get nowhere, right? Girls in particular, because they have all of these people that swipe on them, and they're like, oh my God, all these guys want me. So how do I pick? And then they get lost in this haze, and they wind up, 35 and alone. So what do you do instead? That's where the problem arises, because it is a heavy dating app culture. But I always tell you, man, old school, get out of the cities, go to like gatherings where, oh, I'm having a bunch of people over my house. You want to come over? Yes. Yeah. Go over, meet people. You gotta get in the habit of meeting people the old fashioned way. I don't care what it takes. I'm ready to move to a farm and get a cow and a couple of chickens. I'm really there. I'm like, I want a water well. So, you're laughing at me at home now. Call me in 5 years when Bill Gates gets what he wants done. And you're going to be like, where's that water well, Jed? And how much do I pay you to use your well? That's where we're going to be at. $5. No, just kidding. Okay. Let's go to number 5. I see one chat. Let me read this one. I see 2. Rick Bourne, as an objective standard, I think both these women, the women in the first clip, would not be able to get a life insurance policy, a whole life policy. Yeah, that's the other thing. You always talk about, remember when the vaccine came out? Everybody's like, oh, you're not getting vaccine, so you shouldn't have access to hospital care. And I was like, you ate McDonald's for lunch. I had a grass-fed steak and a whole bunch of vegetables. Who are you to talk about what I should? I'm going to wind up paying for your health care. And you're fat. And you're lecturing me about health. I didn't get the vaccine. I ate my grass-fed steak and a whole bunch of vegetables, went to the gym for an hour, and you're talking to me about what I need to do for my health. I had COVID. I had it for like a week. I'm good. So just be aware of who's lecturing you all the time. I love that argument. Oh, you're going to be a drain on the system. Really? How's that McDonald's sitting in your belly? That big old belly that you got hanging over your pants. Okay. RP Thor, $20. This guy. What a picture. Is that you? Do you look like that? You can't look like that. That's crazy. It's a lot of muscles going on there. All right, $20. From a grandpa to a MILF. Great show, Jedediah. Keep up the great shows. Watching your evolution is so refreshing. Yeah, it's been quite an evolution, let me tell you, because I needed to be exposed to these modern women because I'm a relic. So I'm like, what are you talking about? The first time Rolo came on, I was like, what are you talking about? Women aren't... You're talking about... Because I was thinking to myself, my generation of women. Then I start looking at these women, and I'm like, you don't say. Body counts 30, 40, don't even know what's going on, hopping in and out of beds. Now I see what you're saying. Okay, let's go to number 5. We have to play this on mute, Deli. This is a woman. Well, we'll see it. You'll see. Okay, you're going to see. She's saying, today I turned 36. I'm not married. I don't have kids. This is what I do have. The genuine enjoyment of my own company. She's talking about her ambition. I can't even read that, Deli. Can you? Let's play it twice. Deli, you want to read? You want to read what it says? Deli's pulling the mic over, so I don't know. We're going to have to get the hook after this to get him off air, but go ahead.
It says, the confidence in myself, my values, and what I bring to the table, new lifelong friends that I never thought I'd meet at this age in life, and a successful company created from scratch.
Okay. All right. So she's 36. She's not happy. Okay. But Jed, she looks so happy in the video. Can I ask you a question? If you're happy, do you have to make video about it to tell everybody why you're happy? If you're feeling really good, right? You're feeling really, really good. Do you need to be like, I feel really good. These are all the reasons why. And even though I don't have this, I have all these things. See, I'm happy. No, you don't do that. She's unhappy. She's unhappy. She hit the wall. She feels like something's missing. Things aren't going so well. She feels insecure. You got a lot of people around her probably saying, oh, when are you going to get married? Are you going to get this, that, the other thing? So she's like, well, I'm going to just flaunt what I do have. And by the way, these are all things again. She's saying it like the first scene is like she's going like this, telling the guys to come. Guys don't care about any of this stuff you're talking about. I know, listen, it's nice you own your own company. That's great. I'm not saying no. I have friends that own their own companies. Great. Female friends, great. Some of them, great stuff too. Facialists, this, that, great. But guys aren't going to come running to you for that. So you have to be able to distinguish the things about yourself that you take pride in. Right? You take pride in. That's important. That's important. But then you also have to be able to say, I take pride in this, but most guys just aren't gonna, they're not gonna be drawn to me for that reason. Just understand it. That you don't have to stop taking pride in it for yourself, but you have to be realistic about what it's gonna bring to the table in terms of options. Reality is you're 36. 36 is tough, okay? Again, I'm gonna say, and people say to me, I wasn't married. When did I get married? Was I 37? I might have been 37 when I got married. My husband's gonna be like, you don't know the exact age. No. I think I had met my husband, I got married late. I met my husband when I was maybe, I wanna say like 33, 34, maybe 34. And we got married, I believe I was 37, and I didn't have a baby till I was 40, okay? So some of what I'm telling you is because I look back and I'm like, what was I doing in this little pocket here? Like, I have the advantage of hindsight here, okay? Now, I can't say I have a beautiful family, right? I got very lucky, one, and also I took very good care of myself so that my fertility, like when I went in and we got pregnant on try one, okay? And that was my mom and I laugh about that to this day, but I took really good care of my health for many years. I put myself in an optimal position. I kind of had a baby face until I can show you pictures. I should pull those up sometime. Would you want to see pictures of me young? I'll show you all why I wouldn't compete now with my 21-year-old self. I'm bringing those photos out one day too. You're going to be like, dang, yeah, that's right. But, at 35, I had a baby face still. I don't have a baby face anymore, I don't think. Not really. Maybe a little bit in here, but not so much here. Anyway, I had a baby face, and it just was, right? But I wasn't a drinker, and I didn't smoke, and I never did drugs, and I took care of my body, right? So it was just what it was. A lot of women aren't doing that. They go through the phase of bed hopping. Oh, college is college. Oh, what happens in college stays in college. No, it doesn't, honey. Sometimes you wear it on your face later in life because you're all wrinkled, you smoked, you did the drugs, you look worn. You look run through a bit, you just do. So 36 is challenging, and guys are going to look at a 36-year-old and they're going to say, well, what's her fertility like? This is how a guy's mind will work. And she's an attractive girl, but they will look at a 36-year-old and say, okay, if I meet her today, that means I have to rush because I meet her, and if I want to spend a couple of years getting to know her before, say we spend a couple of years before we move in together. Now she's 38. Then I'll move in with her and, maybe get married in a year. She's 39. And then if we decide to wait a couple of years before we have a baby, she's 41. And then what if you want more than one kid? So that's not to say that can't happen, because it can. I'm just telling you my life, right? How it played out for me. But that is not the reality for most, as particularly now we're in a fertility crisis, oftentimes because a lot of the chemical exposures that I warned you about in the beginning, and that's why I plugged Rocasa. But it's just not how it goes in most cases. So you may be very lucky. You may wind up with that girl, and that timeline may work out perfectly for you. But odds are there's going to be a lot more curveballs there that could pop up than if that girl was 25, because it's just more time. So you're hurting yourself by this delay all the time, women. You're just hurting yourself. If you know you want a family, prioritize that. If you don't know and you're floating around and you're not sure, that's different. Maybe I don't know what to tell you then. Then you really have to just find your own way and hope for the best. But no, hey, the older I get, it's going to be harder for me to, my options may not be what they were if I haven't really taken care of myself and whatnot, So it just is, whatever. You got to I don't understand this resistance to just accepting reality. It drives me nuts. Okay. So we have one more fun one, and then I have to show you something with crazy eyes that really, listen, if there was a robot brought to life in a real scary way with crazy eyes, this woman would be it. So we have to do that. But right now we're going to go to, I think this is from Whatever Podcast. It's a short. I love this one. Let's just play it.
You guys go out every weekend to party?
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Maybe Sunday. Tonight.
Okay, so your boyfriend goes to the strip club 2 times a week?
No.
It's just like a ritual thing.
Go ahead.
It's like a regular.
I mean, if he wants to go, he can. But
Sure.
I don't know why you'd want. What do you get?
You got a girl.
Yeah.
You got a girl already.
Yeah. But I mean, if you want to go see it.
I think no, but there are some cases where I'd say if it was okay, maybe if he I
don't think I'd like that.
Okay.
How often do you guys go
So
out
again,
every weekend?
oh, I can go out and party. Oh, yeah, go out Friday, Saturday night. Oh, yeah. And that other one's like, oh, tonight's Thursday. Oh, yeah, sometimes Thursday too. Woohoo. But what about if your guys went to strip club? No. Horror. They'll like horror in their faces. Okay, so let's set something straight. First of all, they say, why would he want to go to a strip club? You've got a girl already. You've got a girl already. So why do you want to go out and party 2 nights a week if you've got a guy already? Does it not go both ways? If you've got a guy already that you like, why you got to be out, with your butt out, with the boobs out, trying to get attention from other men? Why don't you just hang out with your girlfriends and go get a dinner? Why you got to be all about getting attention from other men if you've got a guy already? You take a second to think about that? Why? Because you got a guy you don't really like that much. He's your backup and you're really out on the prowl. Let's be honest. Secondly, women have this like perception of strip clubs that's really not accurate. They think they're going to send their guys to the strip club. I've been in a strip club. When I was younger, I got invited to a bachelor party, and I went in. I wanted to see what's going on. I went in, looked around. I was like, all right. It's not, it was like, okay, whatever. It was just a bunch of boobies, whatever. But women have the impression that guys go there, and they're getting hit on actually like by the strippers. Like the strippers are going to go and want to like date them, come over to them. Oftentimes, 9 out of 10 times, 9.9 out of 10 times, those strippers just want their money. They're there that's work for them. They're not trying to take your man. They're not trying to like do any of that. They don't want to be touched. In fact, most of these places have rules. You cannot, even if you get a lap dance from the girls, you cannot touch the girls. Like you have guys getting lap dances like this a lot of the times because they don't want to be getting in trouble. Like none of that's going on. Now people say, oh, but the back room. You got to be in a real shady strip club for that, for stuff going on in the back room. That's not common. Your average strip club where, you got above average women dancing. There's a lot of boundaries in those places. So guys are going just for visual. Oh yeah, it's like something they do. They just go and it's like they absorb this stuff. Now, let me say this to you. I personally wouldn't be drawn to a man that frequented strip clubs. That wouldn't appeal to me. Right? But I also am not somebody that would turn around and say, well, you can't do that, but I'm going to go out and party with my girlfriends 2 nights a week and get a ton of attention from other men. No, I'm not into like the party scene, period. So I would personally be drawn to a man that was like, fixing things. Like, okay, it's Friday night. I'm going to I want to build something. I'm going to like do, like a doer. I'm going to map out. Maybe I like workers, right? Somebody's really driven with work. Somebody who's, the strip club scene is just kind of tacky to me. So me personally, that would appeal to me. But notice the double standard. And by the way, like you as a woman going out to just a regular club are more likely to have guys all over you, guys paying attention to you, guys touching you, guys doing this, guys trying to grind on you, than your boyfriend going to a strip club. He's going to sit there. The 9.9 out of 10 guys are going to sit there, they're going to watch, and the women are just going to be like, hey, blah, 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 and that's going to be it. He's going to pay his money, they're going to go home. Okay? That's the difference. You go out to the bar, and you're going to have guys being all like, oh, going to get your number. Oh, your boyfriend. You can't really like him that much if he's not here, right? Like, this stupid ridiculousness. But it happens, and then you feel special. You tossed your hair, blah, blah. You go home feeling like, oh, I have my boyfriend, but if I really wanted another one, I could have one like that. You feel all boost confidence. Your guy comes home from the strip club. He maybe looked at some titties, right? Bottom line, but that was about it. Right? He came home being like, okay, none of those girls would actually go out with me. End of story. That's really, you got to be realistic. That is just the difference. Because girls get a ton of attention. We could walk down the street, like put on a reasonably tight outfit and walk down the street, and you're going to get like a bunch of heads that turn, even if you're like a 5, right? If you're going to go to a strip club and get some real attention from the girls, like where they would actually be like, oh, maybe I want to make some, they got to like, maybe Andrew Tate has that happen, right? But he's Andrew Tate. Right? People know he's Andrew Tate. So they know like what comes with an Andrew Tate. Like, oh, there's a lot of money, there's businesses, that's what I'm saying. Okay. All right. Oh man. Separate set of standards always for the modern women. Fun for me, but not for thee. Okay. All right. Let's go to, Crazy Eyes. Crazy Eyes. If you have any chats, by the way, did you hit that subscribe button and that like button for me right now? Do it. And by the way, you got a comment. I want to see the comments. You always have to tell me, Jed, I liked this segment. I hated this. Do more of this. Do less of this. How am I going to know and get direction if not from you? I really do try to tailor the show to the audience and what you like. If you don't tell me, I'm not going to know. So hit the subscribe, hit the like, tell your friends about the show. If they can't stand the modern women and what's going on, they got to be like, oh, tune into this girl. She has no fear. Okay. All right. So let's go through this. This is technically a Matrix topic, but it's related to the gender stuff we talk about all the time. I don't know if you saw this, the Australian ambassador for gender equality. Very creepy. So let's just play her talking. Can you just focus on the eyes, which is supposed to be the window to the soul, by the way. Let's just focus on that and listen to what she's saying, and then we'll talk about it.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Copus-Campbell, Australia's new Ambassador for Gender Equality. I'm incredibly honoured to take on this role as the lead international advocate for Australia's commitment to gender equality and the human rights of women and girls and persons of diverse gender identities. In this role, I'm committed to listening to those who are dedicated to promoting gender equality and learning about the perspectives and priorities in communities and countries in our region and globally. Promoting gender equality is the right thing to do, but it's also the smart thing to do. It is central to Australia's diplomatic, economic development and regional security, as well as our international engagement. I look forward to working with partners in Australia, in the Pacific, in Southeast Asia, and globally.
I've seen enough.
To progress.
Because honestly, her eyes are creeping me out so bad. I'm like, what is she? I feel like it's like she's absorbing some type of data from the situation. Is that like some type of robot brought to life? I don't know. All right, so let's talk about her first. It's interesting. The job, gender equality, ambassador for gender equality. This is needed. Why exactly? This is some ridiculous job. What is that person going to actually do? Are they going to now police people's language? Is everyone going to be, if you're a misogynist, you get penalized? What's going to happen here? This is going to somehow infringe on the rights of men. We can all just say that outright, right? This is going to lead to some like, women are always right. Some, extended Me Too craziness. Something's going to happen here that's not going to be good for men. Can we all acknowledge that? Okay. Secondly, I find it really interesting that they place this woman up as like the pinnacle of what a woman should be, in my view. Like really? Does that strike you, that woman, as feminine and nurturing and warm and like any of those things that are unique to women? She kind of looks like a robot, like a robot brought to life. Like if Bill Gates were able to program people and they weren't really people anymore, but they were robots and they were sent out in the world to just execute his will, they'd kind of look like that woman, no? Like a type of soulless kind of agenda, Stepford wife-ish. Maybe there's like puppet strings up here, but we're not sure. There's some of this going on. And the crazy eyes. The crazy eyes. So just know that, first of all, this will be an anti-man agenda. We know that. I'm sure of it. And secondly, what they are propping up as the spokeswoman and the person who's supposed to be enlightening us about gender equality is a woman who's lost all of the things about womanhood that are appealing to me. Like, I see no tenderness in her eyes. I see no femininity. Yeah, sure, she's got long hair, great, but like the soul is just kind of this. Wouldn't they love for women to be this? And by the way, it's interesting. I see an increasing number of women who are on. I took hormonal contraceptives for many years before I was awakened to just how bad they were. I took them. Doctors, gave them to me, and when I stopped taking those pills, I kind of felt like somebody like set a spark in my belly. I was like, whoa, like I had been kind of this for a really long time. So just know that the goal of a lot of society is to get women to kind of read like that. And I'm asking you guys in the chat, does she appeal to you? Do you see that woman and you're like, that's a nurturing, I would love for her to be the mother of my children? I'm not talking about looks here. I'm talking about energy. I will guarantee you that 9.99999 out of 10 guys will say, no, I'm going to pass on that one. And let's also hope that she's not a closet serial killer based on the eyes. Okay. Jen, you're so mean. I tell it like it is. You know it. A lot of people won't call out crazy eyes the way I will, but I've got a job to do. All right. Last topic of the day today, because it's been a long day and there's tar to complain about yet. So let's see. Bill Gates. Our friend Billy Gates, who ate too many Beyond Burgers and starting to look a little chunky. All right, this is a video of Bill Gates talking, and I want you to watch and pay attention to this because this is how the elite members of the Matrix talk. This is what they think of you, by the way, so pay attention.
What do you say to the charge that if you are a climate change campaigner, but you also travel around the world on a private jet, you're a hypocrite?
Well, I buy the gold standard of funding Climeworks to do direct air capture that far exceeds my family's carbon footprint. and I spend billions of dollars on climate innovation. So, should I stay at home and not come to Kenya and learn about farming and malaria? Anyway, I mean, I'm comfortable with the idea that not only am I not part of the problem by paying for the offsets,
sure.
but also through the billions that my Breakthrough Energy group is spending, that I'm part of the solution.
Can you imagine? That's his answer. That's his answer. So translation for you is that, here's the translation. I don't have to play by the rules because I'm Bill Gates. Why did you even ask me that question? How silly of you. That's all you really should have gleaned from that. He's talking about how his jets are different. Oh, I have the gold standard. By the way, watch a lot of interviews with Bill Gates. He uses this gold standard argument a lot for all different things. Apparently, Bill Gates has the gold standard of a whole bunch of stuff, which makes his stuff not problematic somehow. Okay, so your jet doesn't emit, doesn't tax, it doesn't have carbon emissions, none of that. No. He's also saying, well, because I do so much in the name of this stuff, it's okay if I do some bad because I'm like balancing it out. It's fine. Does that make any sense to you at home? So in other words, you can't take a private jet because you're not doing all this other stuff that I'm doing. You can't do it, but I can do it. I can do a whole bunch of bad stuff because, I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff here that I deem good. Does that make? And by the way, number one, that's ridiculous. Either the private jet is bad for the environment or it's not, honey. Make up your mind. Make up your mind. You don't get to just be like, well, I offset, These I love these people. That's like somebody who eats. Oh, well, I went for a run, so now I can eat all this bad food. Wasn't the idea that you went for the run, you're trying to lose weight, and now you're going to go for the run and not eat the bad food, so you actually lose the weight? People are unbelievable. The circles they'll talk in. And this guy's beloved, too. You see that video recently that came out of him dancing? Honey, if that's what masculinity looks like in this age, I'm out. He was dancing, and let's just say it wasn't a pretty sight. It wasn't a pretty sight. Big old belly hanging up. No thanks. So this is how they think. And this is what I want you to absorb from this, because it's always going to be, whether we're talking about climate change and private jets, or whether we're talking about, vaccines, or whatever it is, the elites will always find a way out. They'll find a way to not do what you're mandated to do because they're rich, because they're powerful, because they're well connected. So all of these mandates, and the mandates for carbon emissions will come down the pike. Wait for it. Okay, all of this stuff will be headed to a town near you, and Bill Gates will be hopping on private jets to go do whatever he's doing. And by the way, to answer his question, would it be better if I didn't go? Yes. I feel very comfortable saying that the less you are involved in anything, the better the world is. Yes. Why don't these people ever get interviewed by somebody who has the audacity to say things like I do? Why? Can you imagine, somebody said to me the other day, or somebody wrote me on Twitter the other day and said, can you imagine a presidential debate if Jed was the moderator? Can you imagine? That'd be fantastic. That would be fantastic. Can you imagine me and Elizabeth Warren is on the stage, me talking about the modern women? It would be you can tell me people wouldn't watch that. They'd watch it. You know it. All right. We're good with chats, right, Deli? All right. I want to thank you guys for bearing with us today. I apologize for the delay again. I'm glad we got a show out there for you all. I'll be back on Monday. And I appreciate all of you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. And by the way, again, remember, if you have a question that you want to ask me that you don't want to put in the chat and whatnot, go to Minnect, Minnect. It's a great app. You can go on over there and you can ask me whatever you'd like. You can FaceTime with me. And listen, just be prepared. If you're talking about some girl you're dating and she's doing you dirty, I'm going to tell you. Just saying. See you Monday.